Eccoci qua anche questa sera, seconda diretta di oggi. Hi Hossein, thank you.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
Fine. Is a long time I want to see you because I don't remember when we meet the first time in
It's
Bologna.
been, yes, it's been a few years. It's quite a few years, yes.
I think 5 or 6 years ago
Yes, must be.
because
Yes, yes.
uh, and today, what day is today?
Oh, it's what is it? What is today? Where am I? Today I think it's Tuesday, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
7th of December
that's correct.
2021
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
22 o'clock, and this is the live number 338.
Wow, fantastic. Good, good, good.
And who is Hossein Farmani?
Is that a question you want to ask me?
I
Uh,
I meet you like a friend
yes, yes,
who make many things of photography, and not only photography, but you can start with photography.
that's correct. Yes, yes, yes. But it
When
always, Mhm.
yeah,
Go,
I
go ahead,
listen
Isaac.
you.
Yeah, I was going to say when it all started about 25 years ago,
Mm,
when we decided to do the Lucy Awards, and
yeah.
that's when we put together a group of really masters of photography, and we started an event that is now become a very well-known award. But I think to explain like who I am, and you have to go back to when I was 8 years old when I first discovered the camera, and when like many other photographers and people that love photography, it's when they discovered the power of what the camera can do and the photography power of photography. And I think that's when it really changed my life.
I have another friend in Tehran
Mm.
that he likes so much photography. He's a photographer, and he explained me how Iran is so beautiful.
Well, I mean, as you probably know that I grew up. I was born in Iran and grew up there, and I went to America when I was 17,
Yeah.
and I really like my whole photography world and photography career took off in Iran when in America where I used to be in a photo lab in Hollywood, and so it really most of my passion for photography increased in in US when I was young, and for the past 50 years almost that I lived in US is where I've done most of my activities. But and recently I went back to Iran about 3 years ago, and I started several museums there, and I saw how amazing the photography scene and the photographers and the whole art scene, how progressive and how really some of the best artists that I've seen. And I've, as you know, I've traveled all around the world. I lived in Europe,
Yeah.
I lived in Russia, I lived
You
in
never stop.
yes, exactly, in Argentina. I lived everywhere, and it was very surprising to me that the country that I left when I was young and I didn't go back, that I could rediscover it, and I see the great art scene, really fantastic art scene.
And the growing up of your life from when you was child from today, what is the same like when you was a child?
I am I'm still a child that loves photography. I'm still a child that when I see a great photographs, I glow and I get excited. And when I
uh,
see, you and so it really, I aged a lot, but I haven't really changed. That kid is still inside. Yeah.
sì. And Lucy Award, how born Lucy?
Um, for almost 12 years, I did the Hollywood Awards, which is after the Oscar was one of the biggest
Mm,
event. With a few friends, we put together the Hollywood Awards, and and I wanted to do this for photography because there was enough already for the film, and so we decided that we should do a red carpet event like Oscar likes for photography. So I put together a list of people. I hired people from the Oscar and to organize an event for us. And our idea was to get because we lived in Hollywood, to get the Hollywood celebrities to give awards to the photographers, instead of us giving awards to Hollywood celebrities. And so and we were looking for a name for a long time, and so we finally came up with the name Lucy, which in Italian means light. Luce comes from the word luce, and so the Lucy word was born, and many people didn't realize, they didn't believe that the photography needs red carpet, and some people were excited, some people were against it. And
mm,
after the first event, everybody was for it. Everybody was like, "Wow, this is really amazing," because I've already had an experience of putting major events together in Hollywood, so this
yeah.
was an easy event for me. Yeah. And
And
the fact
how
that
many?
so the big break was when Cardi Bursan agreed to receive this award, because before at the end of his career and the end of his life, he wasn't
Mhm,
really excited about photography, and he wasn't accepting any awards or any honorary things for him, for him as a photographer. So when he understood that what my passion was, and how this wasn't an advertising, it wasn't a money making, it wasn't a business, it was just something that I put together because of a passion that I had for photography. He accepted the award, and then once he accepted it, then everybody wanted it. If Cardi Bresson has the Lucy Awards, I want a Lucy Awards too.
yeah.
So it was easy then after.
How many photographs you have seen in 25 years?
Lucy is about 20 years old, and I there's a with them. The honor to meet them, to talk about their documentary that we put together, and many amazing individuals that I met, and really amazing human being, and really heroes of not just photography, but heroes of the world. So it's been a really an amazing experience putting the Lucy Awards together and meeting not only the masters of photography, but also many great photographers all over the world.
And uh, what is the life without photo?
Well, I don't know. It wouldn't be fun for me, definitely. I think I after seeing millions and millions of pictures in my last 30 years career in professional photography, every time I look at something, it's just multiples of pictures. I turn my head around and I see, 100 small pictures that are together. So I, I feel like I see life through multiple pictures. I see life through, I travel and I see the trees. They all become pictures for me that are put together and becomes reality. And without light, without that, without pictures, without seeing, um, I think I think we would be all be blind. Yeah.
And I remember your word you tell me in Bologna when I ask you how I can become a big photographer. You told me you must have a sign. You must leave your
So,
sign in your photography.
right.
And I think I thought every day if I make a good photo or not. So when we meet again, I show you the how I change. Really, I don't change my how I do my photo because I have an idea and I want to live my idea.
Fantastic. So
I
that was
don't
the whole
want
idea. Yeah.
I don't want and I don't change for the other people.
Good, 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 good. Very good. Well, it was the whole idea. I think what we talked about is that to be known as a photographer, you really need to have your own style. You need
Yeah,
to have your own signature that we talked about
this.
in the image. Um, and I think, I mean, some photographers believe that, or artists believes that if you look at other people's work, you might not you might become start copying other people's work, but I think you can develop your own work, you can develop your own style, you can develop your own signature in every
Yeah,
photo that you take by looking at thousands of photographs, by seeing what other people are doing, by seeing, because you might take an amazing picture and think, nobody's done this, but the fact is, like 200 people probably before you did it. So unless you know the market, unless you know what amazing photographers, the history of photography, the what's in the market, what is people shooting, then you can create your own style from learning all that. It's like any other business that if you're in a business, you have to really know the business. And photography, for professional photography, to become a very famous photographer, you really have to know your stuff. You really have to know what makes master photography, what makes great photographs, what are the collectors buying, why are they buying something in auction, and what, whatever you agree with the reason or not, you really need to study it and see it. And I think as a young photographer, I used to like spend hours and hours in the libraries, in the bookstores, just looking through images, and all those images that I saw, all those photography books really made me who I am, made me learn, and made me get used to it. It's just like, if you drink wine, you start creating a palate for wine, right? This is the same thing with art. If you see
yeah.
enough art and read about it, and then you create a palette in your eyes, what's good for you, what is your taste, what is you develop an understanding of art and understanding of photography.
And I told I tell to my friend who asked me how I can make photo like you told. Read the book, yeah, but you must live, correct, live your life.
Right, right, exactly, yeah, yeah. But I mean, you can be inspired by it. Like when I was a young photographer, I was inspired by reading a book. I was inspired by reading a novel. And then I wanted to go create the photographs because I was so inspired by the life of an artist, another artist, or a movie that I saw, or many
Mhm.
different things inspired me to take a picture. So it's very important, I think, to expose yourself to others, and when you take pictures, also it's very important to show it to other people, and see what other people think. And because when you take a picture, you're so close to that photograph that you many things make you love or hate that photograph that are not in the picture. It was the surrounding, the event that happened, things that made you take that picture that happened, that when someone else look at it, they don't see what you saw, they just see one photograph. So it's really great to have people look at your photograph, have them hear their opinion, see how they affect that photographs, how does it affect them? What kind of emotion creates in them when they see your photograph? And I think it's really, especially since the photography has really become a form of communication, it really it's important to show your work, important to see other people's work as well.
Mm.
It's funny you show this picture because I'm having dinner with him tomorrow night in Paris. Steve McCurry, the one picture, has a big opening in Paris tomorrow. So we're meeting tomorrow night to to celebrate his new book and his exhibition.
I I start photography looking to Steve photos and
Hmm.
also to other people, other
Right on.
photographer. But Steve, I always told me a day maybe you can meet him because
Yes, why not?
I I I think he is a very simple man.
Very, 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 very generous, very kind, very open to helping anyone and everyone. He's a really a wonderful human being.
Mm. And also,
I don't.
I
Mm,
no,
mm.
tell me.
I don't know if you know or not. I created a museum. Specifically, I built a museum for Steve McCurry that has permanent collection of Steve
Mm,
McCurry, and it's about 400 images in that museum, and it's always there. It's not. It doesn't change. It changes with his work, but doesn't. No other photographer. Only Steve McCurry. It's called House of Steve in Kashan in Iran, and it's a is this a gift for our 20 years of friendship and a gift to his daughter, Lucia.
mm,
But it's a beautiful museum. I will have to send you some pictures of it. Yeah.
yeah. And 1 week ago, I read that Sharbat,
Shabbat
he,
Gold, yeah, yeah,
yeah, was in Rome.
yes, yes, yes. Steve and his sister worked really hard to bring her to Italy, and some NGOs in Italy also worked really hard to bring her. And we're hoping to bring her to the Italian Parliament to meet our dear friend Roberto. And so as soon as she's out of her quarantine, we hope
Mm.
to have a meeting with her. Yes, we're very happy and very grateful to Italy for allowing her to come in.
So I give you 2 minutes to tell to people what about you have in your brain in this
Yes.
moment and you want to leave to us.
um, 2 minutes is a long, long time. For such a small memory and such a small brain. But what I wanted to tell you is what I'm working on. I love to share with people um, that I'm at the point in my life that is for me is all about what I leave behind. I think when I turned 60, I started thinking about um, how many things and many people and many situations have changed so much of my life, and I thought it was time to give back what other people gave into me. And so my goal are mostly to do everything I can, every money, whatever money I have, whatever knowledge I have, to share that and create special spaces that really helped me today be who I am when I was a child. Make these spaces of photography, makes the spaces of art related, and I'm building and buying properties around the world and creating these centers for photography. And very simple, not so complicated and not so government based, and just the simple spaces that shows great photography and we have those spaces now in Greece that we just recently in Athens that we purchased and cleaned, and we have place. It's coming outside of Bologna that will have a major space for showing photography, both indoor and outdoor. We're working on the space in Budapest that we have already a gallery in Budapest. We have a place in Thailand. We're hoping to have a place in Argentina. So I'm negotiating right now in Rome for a space. So we were putting together all the spaces. There are small spaces for art for a center for photography. It's about
Mm.
I think 200-300 square meters of spaces, but I'm hoping that it will be a place that people can travel around the world and go see these photography centers, and it would hopefully give back to a little bit of what I got from all the people that I got. I can give back to the young photographers, the young society, the
Yeah.
society in general. So my goal right now, and what is on my mind is promote things that I love, and it's art and design, and and make it accessible as possible. Put these in spaces that are people normally don't go to galleries. Put these in spaces that people don't really have a lot of access, and be able to do it in a way that is comfortable. And that's what it is in my life now. The 2 minutes.
And project from tomorrow to next 6 months.
I think it's mainly to make sure the Bologna project. I think I've told you we bought a 5 hectare land in near Bologna, near a town called Susanna, a small town, and so we're building. We hope to build probably the biggest outdoor museum of photography, a space in photography in the um, in the big land that we purchased. And our idea is because photography has always been so protected and so archived and put in some place that is no light, and with photography you have to be super careful because it can easily fade. I wanted to do the opposite. I wanted to bring the photography into the speak last and allow nature to interact with it, to destroy it, allow nature to, And I'm hoping that we'll have once a year a festival there in this land, and people can bring in their tents and put up and come and share photography in a Woodstock style. So right now I'm working on the next few months. I'm working on designing and with architects and hopefully start building that space, and finalizing more of our Athens space. So that's my two major that will keep me busy for the next 6 months.
And now you can make me a question.
Uh, well, first I wanted to apologize to you for not being able to come to speak to you earlier, and as you know, I've been traveling around the world, and it's at very little time, and now I'm visiting my sister in west of
Yeah.
France and hiding in her room and talking to you from from the city of Lorient. What I wanted to ask you is what motivated you to study photography, or even pick up a camera and take a photograph. I loved your iconic photograph that you had with the magazine covers. I always remember that series that you did because it won our awards, and I think it was a very, very great and very successful series. So first, I wanted to know why you're starting photography, and second is what is your next project? What projects are you working on now?
Motivation so high because I was stopped 1 years and a half
Mhm.
with my legs,
Right.
and I restart to make photography two 2 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very motivated to show my photo to all the world. I want to walk around the world. I like to make documentary
Mm-hmm.
in English. I don't know what kind of photo is like reportage,
Right, right, yeah.
but look people, look culture, look all there is around the world with my eyes, and
Fantastic.
leave to other people my emotions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very good, very good.
Project um, not yet. I write project, but make photos, make,
Mm-hmm.
and no, there is a project.
Mm-hmm.
Do online the website with a lot of photography that people choose for me
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
500 uh, 5,000 500,000
Mm-hmm.
of shoot of me,
Wow.
and I think he go to choose one 100 maximum.
Oh, wow.
Is a very difficult work, but I tell him you make me because I can't choose one photo in
Mm-hmm.
million of photo. It's so
Right, right.
difficult, and
Yes.
it's like to choose from a son or a daughter what is the
Mm.
best. Is
You're not supposed to. Yes, yes, yes. Well, this is, I think, when I was talking to you about photography, I was always suggesting that greatest photographers work with some of the best photo editors. And to be a great photographer, you have to have a great editor to work with because we are always too close to our own work. We need someone else to look at our work.
you
It's
know
great that you're doing
you know AJ EJ album from Tirana,
that. I don't know, unfortunately.
the Tirana Festival of
Right, right.
Photography.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I
The
don't know it, but I will find it.
curator
Yeah. Uh-huh. The
uh,
curator of the. Uh-huh.
he choose for me the photos.
Oh, great. Fantastic. Good, good, good. Very good.
He is
Very good.
a very important friend for me that I
Mm-hmm.
meet in a social this year, and
Wow.
I tell him I have this big packet of photo,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
want to show to all the world what I can do.
Fantastic. Good, good, good. Very good. I'm happy that you're out there and you're shooting and you're promoting and it's great that you're doing these talks and interviews and you're active. It's fantastic. Really good.
I told me every day that the life is hard but not impossible to do,
Definitely, definitely. And you're a great example of it. Yes.
and
Yes, yes, yes.
is half 30 minutes. I is past. I want
Yeah.
to thank you, Hossein. because
Thank you.
is late also for you.
Thank you. Thank you. No, it's a pleasure to be here with you.
And the last question is tomorrow morning I'm get up and
Go to Paris. Go to meet my favorite photographer. And you?
tomorrow in Italy is holiday.
Oh,
So
fantastic. Good, good.
so I sleep
A little longer.
one hour more.
Okay. Very good.
And I
Very
go
good.
to make photo.
Fantastic. Good, 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 good. You have to keep
I th-
practicing. You have to keep shooting.
yeah. I thank you again, Hossein. And
Thank you,
when
my
you
friend.
come back in Bologna,
Oh, I'm
tell
hoping
me
I'll be there this
something
weekend. I will. I will.
and say
I'll be there.
goodbye to Apple.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
Ciao.
Bye.
Grazie.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Grazie.